everybody, my name is Kimberly and welcome back to my channel. This week I got tagged by Danny from Paperback Salvations to do the rapid fire book tag. Before we begin, if you haven't seen my face before, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I post every Sunday and sometimes random videos throughout the week. So I prefer ebooks or physical books. I prefer physical books. I'm not really an ebook person where you sit down and you kind of scroll through a phone or a Kindle. I'm not really that kind of person. I prefer, you have your book, you get to turn the pages, the feel of the book, the sound. The back or hardback. Don't get me wrong, I will read hardback books, but I don't know, I like paperback because then you can like fiddle around with it easier and you're not restricted by how far the book will open. Online or in-store book shopping. I like to go look at books online to see, the reviews and if it's good, and then I'll go into store and buy it. I prefer going into a store and actually getting the feel of a bookstore. We don't have proper bookstores around where I am in New Zealand, but we have Whitcoulls, which is like a book / stationery kind of shop. So I get my books from there. And I love going in there. You get the book scents. It's good. Trilogies or series. Trilogies end sooner, where series go on for a lot longer. Sometimes 3 books can be plenty. As much as I don't like it when books drag out, if it's a series and it's a good series, I love series. Sometimes series go on too long. I still prefer series just because you get more out of it. Like, imagine Harry Potter if it wasn't a series. Heroes or villains? I don't really read a lot of books where you got, your heroes and villains, but if I had to choose, I think I would go with villains because they tended to have much more of a better backstory to them. And they tend to be more interesting. Unless they're from I'm Michael Bennett by James Patterson, then they're just arrogant and you don't like arrogant characters. So it's like, I tend to prefer villains to heroes. They're very undermined. A book you want to recommend to everyone. I don't have one book, I have 2. It's All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. It is about a boy called Theodore Finch and he wants to die. And it is also about a girl called Violet Markey. And she is a girl who learns to live. They help each other. And it is a very moving story about mental illness. If you haven't read it, I suggest you do. Great book. And the other book I recommend you all to read is I Am Malala. It is about a girl called Malala and she fought for her country to have freedom for girls to go to school and have an education, and she got shot on the way home from school. And it is about how everyone thought she was going to die but didn't, and it's her story and it's a very moving story, non-fiction. She is an inspiration to those all over the world. Recommended underrated book. I'm not quite sure if this is underrated, but it's P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. It is about 2 people who had fallen in love and one of them had died, and now she is learning how to live life through Gary's letters. Simple explanation. Does that work? I don't know, but it is one of my favourite books, but you don't hear people talking about it very much. The last book you finished, Charlotte's Web. As I said, if you look in my 24-hour readathon, I read this. It is about a girl called Fern who stops her dad from killing a little runt of a pig called Wilbur, and then she sells Wilbur to her uncle, who then thinks about killing Wilbur. Charlotte is a spider who creates webs that save Wilbur and makes Wilbur famous, and it is a powerful story about friendship. Used books, yes or no? I love used books. I don't mind if they're used or if they're new. I say if it's got words that I can read, then I will read it. I have several books on my shelf that are from secondhand shops that I absolutely adore. Like The Book Thief, how I bought that at a market this month. I haven't read it yet, but I plan to read it this summer. Top 3 favourite genres. Young adult, I like fantasy fiction. I'm starting to get into like the sci-fi, and I'm starting to get into non-fiction. The weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark. I didn't have any bookmarks because I'm currently reading 3 books and I only have 2 bookmarks. I used Blue Tack. I used that as a bookmark during my readathon. Borrowed or bought books. I like to go to the library and borrow books, but I prefer to own books myself more. It's not the fact of just owning a book, it's the fact that I treasure books and care for books. I take good pride in my books. I do prefer to buy books and keep them, then have to borrow a book, love it, and then have to give it back again. Characters or plot? I prefer plot rather than the characters, because characters can be complete assholes, but the story can have a really good plot line that goes along with it. And if the character does something I do not like, if the plot goes with the reason that the character's like that, then I'll move forward. Long or short books? Getting out of a reading slump, I love reading short books, but if I'm reading for pleasure, I prefer long books so that it takes a while to get into and I can love it more and more. Long or short chapters? If I'm perfectly honest, I prefer both. When I'm in bed reading, I tend to prefer short chapters. So short chapters are really good because I can't just stop in the middle of a chapter and put a bookmark in. I don't like doing that. I like to finish a chapter and then stop. So reading at night is really good. But then when I'm on the bus, on the way to schools in the mornings, I prefer the long chapters to get me through so that I'm not waiting and waiting and waiting for more and more chapters to go and then to stop when I get off the bus. Name the first 3 books you can think of. Me Before You, Harry Potter, and Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. Me Before You, Harry Potter, Winnie the Pooh. There you go. 3 books. Books that made you laugh or cry. A book that made me cry was Me Before You, and I also cried in The Hunger Games. Our world or fictional worlds? I prefer fictional worlds just because you can do a whole lot more within it and you're not trapped. Like, our world is reality. Fictional world is where you want to be, where you'd hope to be, but reality is where we are. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? Yes, I do. I do. I'm sad to admit it, but I do because I like pretty covers. And if I can, I don't like getting the movie side of book covers. I prefer the normal book covers so that I can picture the characters in my head without being told what they look like. Books, yes or no? I've never listened to an audiobook, so I would not know. Book to movie or book to TV? Well, I haven't read any that have gone to TV, I don't think. So I'm gonna go book to movie. Although it would be really cool if it was book to TV where like one chapter of a book was one episode. And it's stretched out, and say your book had 23 chapters in it, then that's 23 episodes in a season. Logic. Movie or TV adaptation that you preferred than the book? Fifth Wave, definitely. Fifth Wave, the book just, it wasn't really going anywhere. The characters weren't really doing anything, and it was quite confusing because you kept changing whose perspective it is and you had to keep rereading it in order to understand it. Whereas in the movie, because you can see the characters, you can tell who's talking, what the storyline is. So as sad as it is to say, I actually watched the movie to understand the book. I got like halfway through the book and to figure out what the heck was going on, so I watched the movie and ta-da! Oh, that is how I understood what the book was about. Series or standalone? I prefer series just because they go longer, and if I really love a book, then it means I get more of that book. Where standalone, you kind of read the one and then you're gonna have to reread the same book over and over again. I tag Christine from Turning Pages 52. I tag Pip Reads, Riley from Queen of the Book. And last but not least, I tag Books, Tea and History to do the rapid fire book tag. I hope you enjoyed my video and I'll see you next time. See ya!